right, what's going on, everybody? I just first off, I want to apologize that we didn't really give much of a warning for this show. I tweeted about it earlier today because I didn't really realize it was the weekend, and I was just like, "Oh wait, it's the weekend," because I was like, "We'll stream Saturday or Sunday," and then I just realized, like, "Oh, I guess it's already here." So, so today's stream, we're basically just going to be going over our Ravens predictions, things like that. Whatever you guys ask, but. That's typically how it goes. So welcome in, Shamil. How you doing? Welcome into the stream. And is there anything you want to get off your chest, Joshua, before we jump into everything?
Not really, other than the fact that if it's not Blake Corn next year, as far as running backs, we should never draft anyone else from Michigan University or University of Michigan. So that's about it. And I'm
Yeah,
ready for Monday night. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm more than excited for the season. I'm just ready for this to get started.
absolutely. I mean, it's just so annoying. The Michigan thing. It's so
Yeah, man.
frustrating. But what's going on, Kevin? Shamil, we're doing good. Watching some college football. If anybody's been watching college football today, I'm pretty excited for the Georgia Clemson game. I'm hoping, most of the games have just not been good, so I'm hoping that game is good.
I feel like between Georgia and Clemson and tomorrow with Notre Dame and Florida State, there definitely going to be some definitely should be some exciting plays. I mean, the North Carolina BT game wasn't bad. BT
Yeah,
came
that's
up
true.
that.
That's true. I mean, there's been some good games. It's just not when teams are ranked. It just hasn't been good. I
True.
saw Iowa's like playing Indiana. And they're both ranked, and Iowa's just smacking them. It's not close at all.
The Penn State and Wisconsin game, I heard that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one, but it just also ended just on like kind of BS. What's going on, Don C? How are you doing? I also see Shamil says no Michigan talk. They can announce their own plans. And Brandon says Harbaugh shouldn't be allowed to pick players anymore. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Harbaugh. Oh my! Every time Harbaugh's like, "Oh, this is the guy,"
Uh,
it's never the guy.
yeah, that's
It's
true. That's true.
it's never the guy, and that's because Harbaugh. I like Harbaugh, but Harbaugh isn't an X's and O's coach. It's one thing if you're Cliff Kingsbury, who's known as like this quarterback guru, who was like, "Hey, this Patrick Mahomes guy's insane. We got to draft him," and then he goes to Arizona. It's like this Kyler Murray guy, he will be insane. But Harbaugh's not like that. Harbaugh's like, he's going to get everybody motivated and everything like that. But he's always just like, oh, yeah, this guy's a hard worker. And he basically always picks players off of hard work. But his brother's not going to give him a bad rap. He's just going to tell him, hey, man, here's inside info. This guy's a beast. And then they draft him and he's never a beast. So, I mean, I'm done looking at the Chris Wormleys of the world and just being like, Harbaugh got a steal. No, Harbaugh's
I
never
think
gotten a
it's
steal.
yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you for the simple fact is like you are a motivational coach. You can't go out there and look at college players and say, "Well, wow, he's great at motivation. We need him on our team." No, if you was actually like I mean, yes, he was special teams, but I'm talking about like real, skill position type of guy,
Yeah.
or even offensive line and defensive line. You can tell who's going to be, that guy. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like the culture John Harbaugh has brought to the Ravens organization. I feel like he does a good job of being the players coach. I don't agree with guys being in the doghouse. We've seen that years previously, but I definitely feel like if he's going to actually like look at some players, really look at them and understand their potential versus someone putting in hard work because what's your real definition of hard work? It's always someone outworking the next man or next woman.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, and it's like, when we criticize Harbaugh for this type of stuff, it doesn't mean that like we want him fired and stuff. Like we like what he brings, but like his skill set isn't the draft or like improving players. Like that's not his specialty. That's why he has, he hires other guys to do that. But
Absolutely.
I see Kevin says John Harbaugh is Kyle Shanahan. No, that's like the two opposite sides of the spectrum. Kyle Shanahan is a play designer that like, obviously coming from Mike Shanahan, but he just like kept building upon the Mike Shanahan system to get basically the offense he runs now and what Matt LaFleur runs, what Sean McVay runs. I mean, those are three of the best teams in the NFC's recent years. Like the best offenses, what have they all been? Kyle Shanahan offenses. They've all been them. The Packers last year. The year before that, it was the 49ers. The year before that, it was the Rams. And they're all coming from that Kyle Shanahan thing.
Yep.
That's not Harbaugh. The Ravens offense has zero Harbaugh influence whatsoever. He's just not that guy. That's all Greg Roman right there. And that's a positive and negative about it. So I don't know. Because it's one thing when you have like, you look at the Chiefs and you see Andy Reid, but they also have Eric Bieniemy. But Andy Reid is one of the best offensive coaches the NFL's ever seen. But Bieniemy's also, supposed to be this really good guy. So it's if we had a guy with Greg Roman and Greg Roman was the OC, but like the head coach was also like a really good play designer, that could work a lot better than how the Ravens do it now, where like Harbaugh just like defers always to Greg Roman. And sometimes it's not good. Just like the other Harbaugh always deferred to Greg Roman. And it ended up not working out. So what's going on? Cam Niels can't watch the live stream today. He's in a football tournament, but I'll be running back the replay game. Well, good luck at the football tournament. Hopefully that all goes well. Hopefully in the replay game, you're just like, yep, we won. Easy work, light work. But Kevin Lopez says Mike Tomlin overrated, lost to Finley, Tebow, Mike McCarthy. Mike Tomlin is a player's coach. Mike Tomlin is not somebody that's deep in the analysis. He's a player's coach. He's going to get your team on track at all times. And that's one of the benefits that he brings to the Steelers. But he's not going in there designing all their plays. That's just not what he does. So he recognizes, hey, we need a different OC. We need a different DC. And he's able to do that. But he's a player's coach. He sets that organization standard, and he does a good job at doing that. The other thing he does, he likes to step on the field. But top tier when it comes to stepping on the field. Chris Reed says, I saw this one person say after the JK injury, it could force us to be more of a balanced attack on offense. Could you see that happening, and could it benefit us? This is an interesting point. I think people are I don't want to say overreacting, but they're overplaying how impactful the J.K. Dobbins injury is on the Ravens. I think just I feel like the Ravens, even without J.K. Dobbins, like I love J.K. Obviously, if J.K. was here, we would be a better roster and a better team. However, the drop off for like a really good running back, which I think J.K. is, to the running backs that the Ravens have, is not that significant based on the scheme that we run. If we didn't run a good scheme and we didn't have Lamar Jackson, losing JK would just ruin us. But because any running back that's ever played with Lamar Jackson has been able to rush for 5 yards per attempt, anyone. Mark Ingram did it his first year with Lamar. Gus Edwards has done it. JK did 6. Like, they're all rushing for 5 yards. So losing him, like, yes, it sucks, but it's not as impactful. And I don't think that losing him is going to like just ruin this rushing attack. I think it's just going to be really similar to what it's been in recent years. It's just whether or not we see the passing schemes be better. I'm okay with how often the Ravens run the football. My problem is when they run the football and when they don't, whether or not the schemes actually make sense. And those are the issues that I see with Greg Roman. It's not my problem with Greg Roman isn't he runs the ball too much. I'm fine with that. It's just that he runs the ball in 3rd and 9, at the goal line. And it's like, what is that? And then, he passes the ball on like out of shotgun and like different situations. It's the when with Greg Roman. It's typically not the scheme that I'm mad with. It's the when. But I don't know, Joshua. What do you think? Do you think like losing JK helps us, increase the passing game?
Man, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, we still got to see what happens Monday night as far as the passing game. We need to see if Greg Roman is really taking in perspective with his new passing coach and wide receiver specialist has implemented with the wide receivers. I mean, I'm not saying make some miraculous upgrades, but at the same time, we do need a balanced breakfast on that offensive side of the ball. Now, I don't. I'm kind of 50-50 with the injury to JK for the simple fact, yes, JK was going to be our feature back. And the way I look at this year, I can see the running plays decrease for design running plays for Lamar, maybe possibly decrease by 20% and get more of that load to JK and Gus. Now, I'm not saying Gus nor Tyshawn Williams can handle that load. Gus is more than he's more than dependable to bring that that rock. I mean, we've seen what he used to do with Kenneth Dixon and him. I mean, that was a crazy two-man tandem. So, being him finally getting able to, be that number one, I definitely feel like he's going to shine. He's earned this opportunity. I know he's not going to let himself down, nor his family, nor the organization down. Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 on the injury or how it may affect us on the offensive side of the ball. I gotta wait to Monday night to see how this passing game is going to actually go, because even though yes, we've seen a little bit of passing here and there in the preseason, we haven't seen the whole playbook, and we haven't really seen Lamar with the actual starting wide receivers and in actual motion in real game time. So I'm gonna hold off till I see game one.
Yeah, and I see Kevin says ESPN ranks the Ravens at number 1 for defense. If I was ranking defenses right now, I don't know if I'd put the Ravens at 1, but like they definitely have a case for it. I'm not, that's I think pretty fair based on the fact that the Ravens are the number 1 scoring defense if you average out the last 2 years. But like, there's some really good defense in the NFL. I think when I typically look at things, when I say like, oh, they're the best or whatever, I typically think about it in terms of tiers. Like, because it's so hard. Like, when it comes to the Ravens are in the top tier for offense. Whether or not you say they have the best offense is debatable, because the Chiefs and the Packers, they have really good offenses. The Rams might have a good offense. We'll see what they're able to do with Stafford. I'm not 100% sure on that. But, like, in terms of tiers, I think the Ravens are both in the top tier for offense and the top tier for defense. And that's what matters to me. I don't care if we have the 3rd ranked defense versus the 1st ranked defense. I don't care about that. I don't care if you rank Lamar 3rd or 5th. If you say he's if you have 6 guys in your top tier and Lamar's 6th, I don't care. Just put him in the top tier and I'm fine. Like for me, I have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson right next to each other. I don't care if you flip Josh Allen with Lamar. I don't care. I see them in the same tier. Same with, Mahomes and Rodgers and Russell Wilson. That's my top tier is Mahomes, Lamar, Rodgers, Wilson. What was Lamar, Rodgers, Wilson, Allen. 5 guys in my top tier. With defenses, my top tier is Washington, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and the Bucks. The Bucks I'm iffy on, but that's my top tier on the defense. You could put the Ravens wherever you want in that tier, but I don't mind that. For me, it's the tiers. It's when they say, oh, Lamar's in the tier with Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford, and those guys. And then I'm like, oh, no. That's when I get upset, is when people put him in a lower tier with those guys. So I don't know. What do you think, Joshua? Do you think Ravens number 1 defense?
I would say definitely top 5 for sure. I gotta give respect. I gotta give respect to guys like that Washington defense. Definitely, I believe the Bucks, correct if I'm wrong, they got most of the defensive players back.
They got all of them back. Every starter's back.
Even better, I mean, when you get that defensive, when you get a championship defensive, that championship defense back, all of them, that sets the tone. You know what they're going to bring. Miami's getting better. Miami's definitely getting better. So the way, honestly, this year, I'm not really worried about rankings. I'm not worried about yards. I'm not worried about none of that. Honestly, my thing is how we get to the postseason and what we do in the postseason. You can rank my guys wherever. At the end of the day, they're here to go to work. You hear everybody in the interviews. They talk about how they're hungry. You talk about how everybody is in that locker room is just on a different wavelength and time, and they know what they got to do. So them rankings, that feat, if you put them in the low numbers in the rankings, that's gonna do nothing but feed their fuel, and and they're the type of guys that thrive off that energy. I mean, when I think when JK saw his PF rankings, he was so fired up,
26th.
yeah, he was more than ready and more fired up to come this season to show him like, hey, y'all gonna move me up in these rankings. Y'all know what I can do. Stuff like that. I love to see that. I love to hear that. I mean, yeah, they looking at it. They're looking at it and they're seeing things like that. But at the same time, it's like they still got one job to do. They're gonna go out there every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday night and go and get that job done. So rank my guys wherever you want, as long as you see us in the postseason and in the Super Bowl. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to apologize to everybody in advance because I'm going to trigger people right now. Cam says the media is rising Gus's stock because they're so far behind on realizing how good Gus is. And Lamar's just that dude. He impacts all the other 10 players on offense. Gus is by far the most overrated player on the Ravens offense. Not even just the offense, on the team. I like Gus Edwards. I think Gus Edwards is a good running back, a good football player.
Mm-hmm.
However, I see a lot of people saying Gus is going to prove it this year. He's a top 10 running back and stuff like that. And he isn't. What Gus is he's able to fill a role. Now, the Ravens scheme and Lamar Jackson's impact is what elevates him, right? Like, that's the impact that people overlook, is how important how important Lamar is. Because every time Lamar's in the backfield with a running back, it takes one defender off of the field every single time. One defender. Every time. Because a defender's always having to cover Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's so good, even when they cover him, Lamar can still keep it, dodge them, and score a touchdown. Like, that's how impactful that rushing attack is behind Lamar Jackson. So Gus Edwards is able to fill that role. And this is what I talked about and there's a chance Gus Edwards has 1,300 yards this season. My statement will still be the same. He is in that replaceable level of running back tier, which is why I wasn't somebody that was like ecstatic when we re-signed him. I was like, we got him kind of cheap. That's fine. Like, I wasn't like, yeah, we kept Gus. Like, we can draft a player and he will put up the exact same stuff as Gus. The exact same. Draft a guy, we can get him. Like, we're going to see Tyson Williams, and it's going to be like, oh, wow, he's an absolute beast. I like Tyson Williams. Another good running back. And it's going to be like, oh, wow, he's getting snubbed by PFF and stuff like that. But overall, in my opinion, it's the Ravens scheme. That's one of the major benefits of having Lamar Jackson. For example, if you want to look at running back talent and running back skill, Raheem Mostert is not that good. He isn't. There's a reason he was cut from like 8 teams. He's not that good. He's fast. But what is he able to do? He's able to fill a role in an offense that just needs a guy that's fast. And Kyle Shanahan is one of the best play designers in the NFL. And so he's able to make Raheem Mostert go for 250 yards, whatever he did in the NFC Championship game against the Packers. Like, the scheme is helping him so much. And the scheme is helping these Ravens running backs. And that's one of the reasons why you can pay Lamar. Like, we can pay Lamar a lot of money. We can pay Lamar $45 million, right? That takes away, because you think about it, you can't pay other players. One of the benefits of Lamar, you don't have to pay running backs. You do not have to. There's a decent chance that the Ravens could just every time, like, don't re-sign JK. Just draft another running back in the first 3 rounds to replace him every single time. I know, Bucky Brooks a while back came out and was like, let's do this. The Ravens should do the college system for quarterbacks and like switch quarterbacks every year. I don't think that's true. I think that's kind of stupid, but they can absolutely switch running backs out every 4 years. They don't need their running backs to be that good because old Mark Ingram came in and averaged over 5 yards per carry. Mark Ingram, over 5 yards per carry, Pro Bowler. Like, they're just going to play well with Lamar Jackson. So, yes, Gus will put up better numbers than he's ever put up before. And I know people get mad. I'm not even looking at the chat. I just know people might be saying stuff. So
They chat about defense right now. Chat about defense.
It's just one of those things that people are going to look at the stats and not look at the scheme. And the scheme is incredibly important. And that's the same thing that happens with, like, I think Matthew Stafford. I mean, Matthew Stafford, if you look at like historical arm talent, he's up there. Like, he's in like the top 25 arm talent in the history of the NFL. Problem is the scheme and all the players around him sucked his entire career, and his defense was terrible. So I think he's going to be much better this year. So it can't just be stats, and it can't just be wins, and it can't just be these basic things. You got to look a little bit deeper. And so when it comes to Gus Edwards, I like Gus. He's a good running back, but he's not great, and not great is okay. That's the benefit of Lamar. That's why you have Lamar. So people might get mad at me. What do you think, Joshua?
They just might. All right. Well, okay. I see what you're saying. Yes, Gus is, I want to say, one of the most overrated players right now. One of our most overrated players is the young man that's on the IR right now. And Mr. Rashad Bateman. No, Rashad.
Bateman. Okay.
Yeah. Because he's looked as rated as the next Jesus Shuttleworth in football. I mean, especially with Ravens fans and our fan base. I mean, that's something we've been talking about for years, is getting a true number one wide receiver. But I will say this: when it comes to Lamar Jackson, he is a X factor. And when you have a X factor in the game, he can take a lot of attention away from so many different guys, where it can open up, so many plays. So, when you like you said, when you have a decent or good enough running back, expect them to go for 800 yards, possibly 6-7 touchdowns within the season. With Gus Edwards, he's like he moves, he's like fine wine, in my opinion. He just gets better, with time. I definitely feel like he's going to bring a presence to make it known that he can possibly be a feature back for a team. He's no Christian and everybody has to understand this. When a lot of teams have these 1-2 systems, it's usually different style types of running backs. With JK and Gus, it was going to be change of pace, hard running, and then when Gus get in there, hard run, put your head down, lower your shoulder, and keep it on moving. But Gus is no Christian McCaffrey. He's not a Philip Lindsay. He's not a Najee Harris. Those type of guys are featured backs. Those are the type of guys that's going to get 40, 30. I'm doing, and that's doing the most, ain't it? About at least 20 to 40 carries a game. Because they have a system, they know what to do, and those type of running backs like that, they can make a difference. So I definitely feel like he's going to work and earn his spot on that offense, and even in the PFFs. But no, I definitely understand what you're saying as far as they're hyping it up.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean like I dislike Gus Edwards. Like, I'm fine with Gus Edwards. I like Gus Edwards, but like the benefit, like, it's like when you're creating a class in like a video game or something like that, where you're like, you got to look at the benefits. And the Ravens said, hey, Lamar Jackson, benefit. Don't have to pay a running back at all. Like, you just don't. Like, you can literally have running backs on rookie contracts under Lamar Jackson's entire career. Heck, you could be drafting 6th, 7th rounders. You can get undrafted guys because you put them next to Lamar, they're going to play fine. They are going to play fine. So I'm not worried about, the JK injuries. It sucks. I love JK. He's very explosive and stuff. But at the same time, the threshold, like the impact that he has in comparison to Gus won't be that severe. It would be very different if we lost Mark Andrews or if we lost,
Yeah,
Ronnie Stanley or something like that, where it's like the backup literally can't produce nearly that level. We're losing out on 1 yard per carry. And while that seems like a lot, when you're averaging over 5 yards per carry, nobody cares because that's one of the best in the NFL already. Because I think the Ravens had 3 top 5 yards per carry players last year.
Yeah.
And Lamar, Gus, and JK.
Because, I mean, honestly, me personally, I feel like G-Ro's going to get fired sooner or later. And it's not even on no hate or bias, nothing of that nature. I just feel like they're going to eventually cut ties with Greg Roman. It's just going to come to a time where they say, hey, we've done all we can. We thank you for your service. And that's it. I definitely feel like, JK could possibly be here for some years to come. And when things change, because Lamar is not going to be as mobile as for years to come. He's not. He definitely will be smarter. He definitely will still have, his agility, depending on how he works on his body on the off season and during the season. But the RPO is going to, I feel like they get rid of that and elevate and Lamar Jackson elevates his game and keep JK around, we're going to be seeing a different style of play in the years to come in the Ravens organization. I feel like we could possibly go back to the play action Gary Kubiak style of offense. I mean, no, Lamar Jackson does not have the arm strength like Joe Flacco, but he's working on certain mechanics and certain things, to get the ball out there, to his weapons.
Absolutely. And for anybody that joined this stream, we're just answering any questions you guys have. I think kind of the goal is to get like full season predictions and stuff like that. It doesn't just have to be for the Ravens or anything like that. But if you want to ask about, MVP and that type of stuff, that's kind of what we want to. We got to get the opinions out there so that people know, what we think before the year. So then we can be right about absolutely everything. But overall, that's kind of the purpose of this stream is just to answer, any just kind of prediction and stuff like that questions, because, there's no game this week. Got to wait a week. And then we have Monday. And I don't know. There's a possibility we do something on Saturday. I have no idea. Next Saturday, I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure out the schedule and stuff like that. So we're kind of annoying that the first game's on a Monday night because normally we'd be streaming just on Sunday and it'd be pretty easy. But let's see. JG Francois, I assume that's how to pronounce it. I don't speak French. I'm assuming that's French. So do you think Lamar will elevate his passing game? Absolutely. I think that's definitely something that is clear that he's needed to work on. Doesn't mean he was a bad passer, but there's definitely things he could have improved upon. And I think he's done that. And that's the thing, is that remember, he's younger than Joe Burrow. That's one of the things that everyone needs to remember. Like, yeah, everybody looks at it and they're like, oh, he's been in the league for, 4 years now. He's younger than like some guy that was like, oh, he's such a beast. And it's like, he's already gone to all of these playoff games. What?
He left his sophomore year of college, right?
Yep. He played 2 years of college football. Like, he's young. Like, he is young. Like, for example, do you know how young Jameis Winston is? I believe he's like 27 years old. I'm looking it up. I might be completely wrong on that. Yeah, he's 27. Yeah, Jameis Winston. Seems like he's been in the league forever. 27 years old. Lamar Jackson is obviously younger than that, but Jameis Winston came in and he really struggled at the beginning. Lamar came in, dominated at the beginning. He's got a few more years before he hits 27, and it'll seem like he's been it already seems like Lamar's been in the league forever. And he's dominant, and he's still so young. And like the passing mechanics, yeah, he's working on them, and that's something that's okay for him to be working on. So, I think he will elevate his passing game. I think the Ravens will elevate their passing schemes along with his passing game. So, yeah, I do think he will, and I think that's something that he will say at all times. Like, yeah, he's always working on his passing game. He doesn't have to work on his running attack and stuff like that. And Camway says, he left his junior year, but I believe he only played in like one game his freshman year. I think it may have been like that. Like he may have just played in like the bowl game. Heisman sophomore year, then he played the year after.
Okay.
Yeah. He only really played like 2 full years of college football. But
Gotcha.
what do you think? Elevate the passing game?
Of course, come on now. I do it. Only thing I would say, Lamar Jackson needs to get with Jesse Palmer. I know he's fine. I know he's like content with working with his own camp, but I feel like sometimes you need to step out your camp, and actually go to some gurus and get that work. I mean, um, it's a trainer out here. He called himself the Foot Doctor here in Maryland. He's actually has gotten the likes of Taylor Austin, Tyreek Hill, other guys in the NFL to work on it. The reach out that's reached out to him on working on their footwork, to be quicker, more sharp with their cuts and things of that nature. So, I feel like if you want to be the best, you had to reach out to some of the best. So, when it comes to the quarterback coaches, gurus, things of that nature, and they offer you an invite, I just hope Lamar go ahead and takes that invitation and don't shy away from it. If anything, it's going to make him better. So I definitely feel like he's going to elevate his game. He always want to continue to show that he's a passer and that he belongs in this NFL. I mean, granted, yes, he done thrown for 3,000 yards plus, but still, that's not enough for him, especially in this passing air raid lead that it has become now.
100%. And then I see a great question. This is from Brandon. This is defensive rookie of the year and offensive rookie of the year. Why don't we start with defensive rookie of the year? My most likely defensive rookie of the year is Kwity Paye. However, I really like Javon Holland in Miami. I think Javon Holland and Kwity Paye are my two leaders. I want to say Holland just because I love the secondary Miami has, and he's going to fit in there, and I think he could have a Derwin James level rookie season in Miami if he's able to get that full. I haven't really looked at they haven't released like a depth chart or anything like that, or the Dolphins haven't. When they release it, hopefully he's sitting there as, safety one, and he's able to go out there and ball because they've got a really good secondary with, I think, Eric Rose, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Igbejene, the corner out of Auburn they drafted last year in the first round. Very, very solid. But what do you think? Defensive rookie of the year, who do you got, Joshua?
Defensive rookie of the year, gee. I ain't got nobody up the top of my head right now. I think that one later. But offensive rookie of the year, I know you're not going to like this, and I'll live with it. I'm going to say possibly Najee Harris. I'm gonna be real, y'all. Najee Harris is a true workhorse. He doesn't give up. He doesn't stop. If y'all heard his story, this young man is, a true inspiration. And being in the Steelers organization, they was missing a running back. So, being able to get, a possibly featured back now and, take some pressure off Big Ben and, the whole dance TikTok sensation of Juju, you might can see him being that offensive rookie of the year. I mean, granted, we're going to do what we're going to have to do, when we play them twice. But I feel like he's going to put up some big numbers in that offense, especially because he's going to get a lot of carries. He's going to touch the ball a lot.
Yeah, Najee's definitely a good pick. I see JG says Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain's a very good player. I love the system that he's in. Broncos have a very solid secondary, good pass rush. And benefit of Surtain's coming from the University of Alabama, meaning he practiced against the University of Alabama wide receivers. Who are the wide receivers Surtain practiced against in his career? Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. 4 first-round picks. A lot of really, really good football players right there. So that's and then also got to play against Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Terrace Marshall and Kadarius Toney and the amount of first-round pick wide receivers he was going against. So it's not as difficult for him to transition to the NFL because he's been going up against NFL level wide receivers in practice every single day. So that's definitely a good bet to go with. We saw that in his first game against the Vikings in preseason, 11 targets, no completions, 1 swat, 1 pick. But offensive rookie of the year, Najee's, I think, by far the safest bet. I just think that, Pittsburgh loves to run the football, and they actually now have that workhorse running back. If you guys are fantasy football players, Najee's a steal. He is he should be a first-round pick. He should probably be a top 5 pick in fantasy football drafts because he is going to be treated like Ezekiel Elliott was when he came into the league, because they're like, oh, what is our offense? We love to run the football, and we love a featured back. And that's exactly what the Steelers love. It's going to look like Le'Veon Bell,
Right.
just giving him the ball as much as possible. So I think that's definitely a good bet. However, I do kind of want to switch it up. I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. Unfortunately, we got a great division for the rookies, but Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow, I think it may not come on really early, but after a few weeks when he really gets settled into things, I think he could go out and ball out. But Jamar Chase or Najee would be my picks, just because if Trey Lance was starting week 1, which I don't think he will, I would say him, but I don't think he's starting. So rip the Trey Lance train.
Now, all right, I got 2 guys that could possibly sneak their way in there for defensive rookie of the year. J.C. Horn, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and stay in the AFC North. I'm gonna say our own. I'm gonna say I feel like just for the simple fact that his work ethic and how he just loves being around Justin Houston, how he loves learning, how he loves to really grind, and he's a student of the game, and you can tell that his work ethic really shows when he's on the field. So I definitely feel like he can squeeze out. He can possibly squeeze that defensive rookie of the year out.
100%. Huge shout out to Cam Wee. Cam Wee is, I gotta say, Cam Wee is one of the original viewers of. I know Cam Wee's been watching for months. I'm pretty sure he was watching within the first month of the channel ever being created. So shout out to Cam Wee. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, bold prediction, LJ will have another MVP season, but they will not give it to him. What do you think about that, Joshua?
I can actually agree with that. And, honestly, as long as he gets Super Bowl MVP, I'm cool with it. If he doesn't get the, NFL MVP at the end of the year, it's whatever. As long as he gets Super Bowl MVP, I'm fine with that. So I definitely can see that happen.
Yeah. A while back, we talked about MVP theory. So I get to bring it back up. My favorite of all sports topics is MVP theory. Once you win one MVP, once the standards, not even win MVP, once you have an MVP level season, which Josh Allen is an example of a guy who didn't win MVP, but he had an MVP level season last year. If you're going to win the MVP or be in that conversation again, you have to break the expectations again. Lamar Jackson expectations this year are for the Ravens to be really good. He's supposed to rush for over 1,000 yards. He's supposed to be very efficient. So he's going to have to do something else. Maybe it's if he could throw for 4,000 yards, or if the Ravens really surpass and are able to go, 14, 15, maybe even 16 wins, then it's like, okay, then you have to start looking at him again. But for example, Patrick Mahomes last year dominated, but everybody expected him to dominate. So he didn't win the MVP. Rodgers won it. Because going into the year, Rodgers, it was like, we'll see what he's able to do. And obviously he's Aaron Rodgers. We know that he's really good, but he came out and was very dominant. And so then he was able to get that award. And so it's the same thing with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, the expectations for him to win MVP are so high. At the beginning of the year, he started playing so well that it was the expectations now for the rest of the season is that he makes and keeps this. Sorry, I saw Patrick Silverman in the chat. He's able to keep that. He was throwing for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns a game. And the expectation became he got to keep that up for the rest of the season, and he didn't, so he couldn't be in the MVP because of the expectations people have. Lamar's expectations are really high. So while he may have a better season, for example, there's a chance, I don't know, I'll throw out a name, Kyler Murray wins the MVP. Lamar may rush for more yards than Kyler Murray, may throw for more touchdowns, but the expectation for Kyler Murray were way lower. So when Lamar was way up here to start, Kyler finished here, and Lamar finished right at expectations, which is really good. Kyler surprised more people, so the media talked about him more, which leads him to winning that MVP. So there's a chance for that. But like Joshua said, regular season MVP, yeah, it's cool. Super Bowl MVP is all that really matters. And really, it doesn't even matter if he wins the Super Bowl MVP. If the Ravens win the Super Bowl, I don't think he even cares. He doesn't even need to be the Super Bowl MVP. So someone win it. Maybe Justin Tucker wins the MVP. I have no idea, but
I can see Marlo.
Yeah, that's true. Marlo getting another Juju Smith-Schuster like punch out late in the game, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Francois says, I'm definitely afraid to see how good Justin Herbert will be this year.
Who's his wide receivers again?
Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, very good wide receiver. Austin Eckler, basically a wide receiver out of the running back. My problem with Justin Herbert, we are still yet to see what Justin Herbert's able to be in the NFL. He struggled winning a lot last year. However, major however right there, the coaching was terrible. Anthony Lynn was not good at all. That was the issue. He could not coach end game situations, and that led to them losing a lot, especially in games that they should have won. I made a lot of money off the Chargers last year. They were up against the Saints by like 21 points. I literally was like, I texted my friend. I was like, dude, Chargers are up. Let's make a live bet for the Saints to win outright. And they did, because I was like, they just lose when they're up big. And that's not a knock against Herbert. It's a knock against what the coaching was last year. But like, I don't really know. I like Herbert. I'm a big fan of Herbert. I got Herbert in Dynasty Fantasy Football. I got a Herbert jersey in the closet right there. You guys can't. No, you can't see it. But it's next to the Lamar one, I think. But so it's like very curious. He has the arm talent. The arm talent is there. It's whether or not he's able to stay consistent, because that's been a concern with Justin Herbert throughout his collegiate and NFL career, is that he'll make some great throws and then it'll just be like he'll miss 5 throws in a row. And you're like, what happened to this guy? And 5 throws in a row is 3 and out, 3 and out. Oh no, we've lost the game because we went 3 and out. So that's tough. But I don't know. What do you think about Justin Herbert, Joshua?
I definitely feel like he can get out there and ball. Like you said, he just has to be consistent. Me personally, because he don't have any weapons, you really don't know how the season can go. And if they stay healthy, who knows what can happen. And Patrick, shout out to you. And I'm sticking with my guns, man. Malik Harrison with the 10 forced fumbles this season. I don't care what you say, man. Love you here.
Yeah, I think he's definitely somebody that's fun to watch. I like Herbert. And yes, if the Chargers stay healthy, they are the most cursed injury team in the NFL. They always are. I saw Patrick say, Bosa and Derwin James, absolute monsters. I think Derwin James is the best safety in the NFL. Promise.
He's the main guy on the Chargers roster that has to stay healthy. He can have a great season if he stays healthy.
Absolutely. And Benjamin asks, will Josh Allen have a drop off this season? No. However, like I talked about earlier, statistically, one of the things that we have to think about is statistically, everyone's going to have higher numbers because there is an extra game this year. So that's something to pay attention to. But like, his numbers may not be as high per game, but he's going to be the same level of player. He may not throw for the exact same, like maybe he throws for a little bit less or whatever. I don't think that's something I don't think he'll drop off or anything like that. However, the expectations for him now are so high that it may be like, oh, wow, he's not. Because last year it was like, oh, he's just always, oh, wow, look at what Josh Allen is. So we were always talking about it. It may just be more like, oh, yeah, Josh Allen, he's playing like Josh Allen. So it won't seem as impressive, but it'll be just as good. That's kind of my take on it. But I don't know. Drop off.
I don't see a drop off. I mean, if anything, like you just said, it's highly expected of Josh Allen to actually not just repeat, but surpass that season he just had. And then he still has Stephon Diggs. So I mean, it's all about his weaponry. And honestly, that combination of Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs is beautiful. I'm not even going front. So they keep it going. 17-game season. Who knows, man?
Oh yeah, got a fun question right here. Will Marlon Humphrey and Malik Harrison force more fumbles this year? I'm going with Marlon. The peanut punch turned fruit punch is too deadly. I fully believe in it. Are you sticking with your guns, Joshua?
I'm gonna have to.
Oh
When
yeah.
Malik plays, he would just reminds me of an old school linebacker that really thumps. And if he gets his arms around you, he squeezes the life out of you. Or if he put his helmet on the ball, it's a wrap. So, you know, and then if Marlo does show Malik, his ways of forcing those fumbles, I don't know. I definitely see Malik, getting those forced fumbles. I mean, only reason I say it because Patrick Queen and Malik Harrison, that's the 1-2 punch. Exactly.
Heavy hitter. Absolute heavy. That's what I loved when they drafted. I really wanted actually Malik Harrison. When I saw he was still available and the Ravens were like about 15 picks before the Ravens picked, I was like, oh, Malik Harrison's available still. I really want the Ravens to go after him. I think he'd be a great combo. And then they drafted him. I was like, yes, we did it. We drafted somebody I like. The same thing happened with J.K. Dobbins that draft too. Like, I definitely didn't do as much research pre-draft as I did this year, where I just knew most of the names going into the draft. Right. But and I know some people way earlier in the stream were asking like if I had any prospects. I have not done any collegiate scouting whatsoever yet. No, I just sat down, watched a couple of games today.
We're gonna start watching the games more this season.
Don't worry. Like it's
who do y'all? I mean, put it in the chat. Who would y'all want us to actually, what position would y'all want us to actually like watch more?
I'm gonna be watching corner. That's what I want to be watching. But Patrick Silverman, the legend, says if the Bills picked up a good running back like David Johnson, I feel that could help them out a lot. Josh Allen would be way scarier if they had a run game, and that running back would be a dope pick in fantasy. Yeah, they tried to draft Zach Moss. They tried to draft Devin Singletary. Neither players have really worked out that well for him. But I don't know. Like, yes, having a run game definitely would benefit them. I don't know if David Johnson would be the perfect fit for them. I think they may have to wait a year and then they draft somebody. They really went heavy on defense this year. They drafted obviously Gregory Rousseau, and then they also drafted Boogie Basham. So like they went all in on the edge rusher spot, and then I believe on the cut list, I don't know if he ended up making the team was somebody, can't remember his name, who was an edge rusher veteran, but Mario Addison, that's who it was. I don't know if he ended up making the team or not, but like adding a run game to that team could make it different, could make it better, but it's just interesting. I don't know, like if there's a guy right now that they could get that could ball out, other than they could have gotten Nate McCrary, but Broncos got him first. But I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Joshua?
I definitely would say any running back with a good quarterback tandem will help out quarterback tremendously. I mean, I just said it. As far as I said my prediction, as far as offensive rookie of the year, Najee Harris. Not saying Big Ben is a great quarterback. He was then. Now he is decent. He can get the job done. He can win you some games. But with a young stud like a Najee Harris, that's going to elevate his game even more. And yeah, so I definitely can agree with Pat saying.
I see JG Francois says the defensive end for Thibodeau. You mean like the best prospect in the country?
That guy. Yeah.
The guy that in today's game against Fresno State comes off the edge and obliterates the quarterback and just sends the football 30 yards backwards. I'd take him. He's probably going to be the number 1 overall pick.
He low-key reminds me of a Jadeveon Clowney. Big plays in college and stuff like that. Next thing you know, when it gets to the NFL, you never know how his work ethic may be, and what
I'm a massive Oregon Duck hater. Like I hate the Ducks, so I hate that they have someone that good on their team because I'm watching the game and I'm just seeing like him just wreak havoc all over the Fresno State line, and I was just like, oh no. So, but Thibodeau's an absolute monster.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be able to scout him because we're not getting him. Unless Lamar gets hurt. If Lamar gets hurt, I may start watching some more Thibodeau, but I'm watching Duck games anyway. But here's a question. Tonight, Clemson, Georgia will be on. Is there anybody that we should look out for in that game?
Honestly,
that could get drafted?
I'm looking at the QB DJ. I'm gonna be,
That's what you got.
I'm gonna be so real with everybody, y'all. Listen, if we do not sign, if we was to win the Super Bowl, we don't sign Lamar Jackson back.
Oh gosh.
Hey, not anything can happen. I don't mind us having one trash year.
Oops. No, it's all good. I'm still here. I'm just gonna mute it for a sec. I'll get this back.
I don't mind us having one trash year and then drafting DJ. For the simple fact, he's better than he's predicted to be better than Trevor Lawrence. He's a 6'5" big body guy. He comes from, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Chet, John out of California. And we all know if you heard of John Bosco High School out of California, they produce some of the best athletes, especially on the quarterback side. So I definitely feel like he's NFL ready, and I definitely feel like he would immediately be an upgrade to any team that's in a dire need of a starting quarterback.
Don't worry, I'm still here. My camera fell behind my desk. I'm working on getting it. Let's see here while we wait. Will Lamar Jackson have over or under 40 combined passing and rushing touchdowns? I'm going to say over because it's a 17-game season.
Okay.
And adding that extra game and having it with such a difficult schedule, the Ravens are really going to be trying to win. I think that's something that hopefully that stays on. Sorry, I'm all right, I'm back. But yeah, so hopefully he's able to do that and stuff, but we shall see. What do you think, Joshua?
I know Pat gonna respond. But anyway, I definitely feel like he can have a over 40 touchdowns combined, just for the simple fact that he's going to try to prove. Not try. He's going to prove that he wants to be more of a passer. He wants to get those 3,500, 4,000 plus yard seasons. He wants to be able to show that he belongs in this league and that he is a quarterback. I know a lot of guys still want to call him like the best running back in the NFL right now. They're all haters because some of their quarterbacks can't do what my quarterback can do, and that's totally fine. But I feel like those touchdowns actually come from not design runs. Those rushing touchdowns from Lamar is going to come, breaking out the pocket, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the only teams that I can think of, unless we're playing the NFC East, then the designed runs aren't scoring as many touchdowns. Because Lamar did have, against every single NFC East team, he took one on an inverted veer to the house for over like 40 yards against every single team. And I think 3 of them were on fourth down. He did it, which is wild. But Benjamin asks also, do you think he can get over 40 just passing? I don't think so. I don't think that the Ravens offense is designed to get 40 passing touchdowns. Here's a great question. I don't know. Do you watch soccer, Joshua?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
One of my favorite players.
Ronaldo's one of your favorite players? Who's the best football player in the world? I'm a Ronaldo guy. I'm sorry, but I'm Messi, a Ronaldo guy.
Like Ronaldo and Messi are like literally there. And
I definitely have
the other guy that his name starts with a Z.
Zlatan?
Yeah, he's up there too.
I love Zlatan. Zlatan's fun to watch. Neymar's fun to watch. I think Neymar's a bit overrated. I'm sorry if people in here really love Neymar. But yeah, for me, I got Ronaldo, then Messi, by far on the top 2 tier. And then, that tier 2, with the Neymars and Mbappes of sorts of the world. But a lot of great players. I'm curious what you think. I have no idea how to pronounce that name.
I believe that's Hebrew.
Yes. I would assume it's in Arabic, but I can't read Arabic. I'm sorry. All I know is that you read it right to left. All I know is you read it right to left. But no worries. So let's see here. Sorry, my computer sometimes just opens up like the bottom right news tab, and it's really annoying. Hopefully I can Close it. Okay, I closed it out. And Don C says Aaron Donald's the best football player in the world. I agree with that as well. American football, Aaron Donald's the best in the world. JG asks, should we be worried about the second half of our season? I don't think so. I think that should actually be something that's a benefit to the season because, yes, it's a difficult schedule, but that makes it playoff level football. I'd much rather play playoff level teams late in the season than have to play like the Jaguars and such, and the Jets and the Giants like we did last year, where it's, overall really, really difficult in order to beat them. But like beat them after we play garbage teams because it's just like we start looking over them and then we lose the game and then it's a must win against the Steelers or whatever, and it's a tough game. And so I would much rather just play more difficult teams at all times. I would love to play all of the best teams in the NFL for the season. I would love that. I would. But what do you think, Joshua?
Definitely don't feel like we should be worried about the second half of the season. If anything, I just came in on your response, but I'm pretty sure it was related towards the teams that we're going to be playing the second half of the season is going to be playoff, ready, playoff expected possible teams that we'll be playing. So I definitely look at that as a good sign for us. Not only the reason I look at it because we see what we're capable of. We see what we can do. We see what the things that we need to work on. I mean, granted, we should be improving at the week 5, but I feel like that second half of the season will be a make it or break it for us. And usually when we play against good teams, we usually rise to the occasion. And I love the way the season has the schedule's been set up for us for this season, because the better we play longer down the road, the better we're going to be come time to the playoffs, in my opinion. So I definitely not worried. I love it. They want this type of battle. They love the adversity. Like they love the chip on the shoulder. People counting them out, things of that nature. So yeah, I definitely like how the season has been set up. The schedule has been set up for us this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brandon asks a question, says, who hits 1,000 yard receiving first this year for the Ravens? Sammy or Hollywood? That's a really tough question. Whichever one stays healthiest.
Okay.
Whichever one stays healthiest, really. I think one of them will hit 1,000 yards, but both of them are also known to miss games. So I'm going to say Hollywood, but whichever one stays healthiest.
I definitely would have to say Hollywood as well. This year, I feel like he's going to be lined up in different all over the field just so he can prosper. I feel like he could possibly have a season that his cousin has had in previous years. So I'm gonna go with Hollywood. And the attention is going to be on Sammy and when Rashad Bateman get on the field as well. So you put Hollywood on those mismatches, and he fights through adversity, stay healthy through the season. Yeah, because that's something him and Lamar want for each other. So I definitely feel like they're going to make it happen.
Oh yeah, and let's see here. Are there any other good questions? It's almost been an hour, so there's a couple more questions. We can definitely do it, but let's see if there's anything.
Wow, Benjamin asked some good questions, but I don't know about this last one.
We won Super Bowls with Flacco and Dilfer. We could win with Huntley. The benefit, Flacco played absolutely insane is one of the things. But the other thing to look at was the defense. The defenses. Yeah. We had the greatest defense of all time with Dilfer and one of the best red zone defenses with Flacco. And that offense was good. That was a good offense. That wasn't like it was just nobody doing anything.
Yeah, really they balled out. Sure. Yeah, so I'm sorry. We like Huntley. Yes, he worked his way up to get that QB2 spot. I can depend on who we played in the first round of the playoffs. I can see him winning that first round game, but I don't know. I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going. I don't think he will lead us to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. JGS Patrick Queen, what are your thoughts on him? Last year, didn't think he was good at all. However, this year I have very high expectations for him. I do think he's actually going to be on that Pro Bowl level type linebacker play. I really expect him to play very well with the full off season, the full training camp, the full preseason. I got big hopes for Patrick Queen. I think he's going to be an absolute beast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about. I'm not gonna say it's about time. It's definitely good to see that the game has slowed down for him. He's moving so much faster. You know, he's not out there. We said it. We said it before. He's not out there running like a chicken with his head cut off anymore. He's just playing, with pure instincts, and he's playing like a vet now. I mean, yeah, this is his second season, but you love to see it, man. He's playing like a vet. He's playing like a Ravens linebacker, middle linebacker at that. Go ahead,
Asking about the weapon. I've been telling everybody from the beginning, Josh Oliver is the truth. Dude can make very difficult catches. He's not amazing after the catch, but he's just going to catch the football. That's all we needed from him was to be a guy that can block and catch the football. That's exactly what he's able to do. I think he's a very good fit for this offense. He's a very good fit on this team and the scheme. So I think he's gonna be very crucial this year. I think there will be games won and lost by that third tight end position, and that's something that we really need to pay attention to.
Yeah, isn't correct me if I'm wrong. I think Nick Boyle's on the PUP list or the IR list.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Nick Boyle will not be able to play early in the year. So actually, he may not even be on a list. I just know he's injured. Okay. So yeah, absolutely.
So definitely, he's a younger version of Nick Boyle. Honestly, taller, a little bigger. he got a better. He runs a better route tree.
100%. Dauncey, I feel you, Dauncey. I feel you. I'm gonna disagree. I'm not upset, whatever, about Nigel Warrior missing the team. I would have rather had Chris Westry. I really liked the secondary that we kept. The only things that I think I got wrong in my prediction were like Nate McCrary. I think making the team.
Yeah.
And then I think it was offensive line stuff. Oh, and also, did Board and Welch both make the team?
We got to check back.
I know Welch made the team, and I didn't have him making the team. But like overall, like I'm not disappointed. I think the players that we took were better than Warrior. So I liked Warrior. I think he was good, but I don't know. I like Nigel.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it like this. When you have so much talent, we literally took lemons and made lemonade. I mean, we done got some picks out of it. Next year, we got 10 picks. Look at it like this. So, I mean, me personally, I feel like we lucked up.
And I see Brandon and JG are talking about losing Shaun Wade. Okay, we didn't lose him for nothing. That's the benefit. Right. The Ravens felt that the players that they kept were better than Shaun Wade. Shaun Wade, the goal was for Shaun Wade to not play this year. That would have been a successful year by the Ravens because that means Tavon wouldn't have gotten hurt. So that's one of the issues is like we are stacking draft picks for next year to be able to trade up, get the exact players that we need. And that's something that I think is really important. So like, yeah, it sucks to lose him and he's not going to play, but we got picks out of it. We basically got a 5th and a 6th because we traded, can't remember who we traded, some offensive lineman. Can't remember exactly who it was.
Manx.
Yeah. We traded him to the Dolphins with the 7th round pick we got from the Patriots and got a 5th and a 6th. That's solid. 5th and a 6th for two guys that might have not even made the roster. And I wish Shaun Wade the best. I still like Shaun Wade. However, he wasn't going to make the team. And so getting something for him is worth it, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But
now you got to think about it. You got Darius, Brandon Stevens. I mean, the goal is for Tavon Young to play a 17-game season. We will see.
100%. All right. I feel like that's pretty good for tonight's show. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, for joining, having a good time. We'll see if we stream next weekend. I know we'll stream before and after the game against the Raiders on Monday night. Hopefully, Joshua doesn't have to work. Hopefully. But we'll see. So thanks, everybody, for coming in. And, like Don C always says, like the video. And we'll see all of you again next time.